Good morning. My name is Pat, and I'm an alcoholic. I'm very grateful to be here this morning, sober and alive. I'm usually late, and my mother always told me that if I continued this, I would be late for my own funeral, so I'm working on that. Today is my birthday. I'm 51 years old, and
how'd you do it?
beats the shit out of me. And I'm sober today by the grace of God and the fellowship of this program, and I am eternally grateful for this. This program saved my life, not only physically, but mentally and spiritually. Had a lot of trouble with the first step. I knew I was an alcoholic, and didn't much give a flying rat's ass. But I had a lot of trouble with the second half of the first step. That my life had become unmanageable. I said, wait a minute. I got a good job. Got 2 nice kids. Wife. House in the suburbs. 2 cars in the garage. And the dog even likes me. I've got a maid, so what's so unmanageable about that? I didn't find that out until after I got out of treatment and I started talking to people, expecting them to look at me and say, wow, you're sober, you've changed so much, so instantly. Nobody said that. I was a little pissed. Hey, look, here I am, sober. First time in, I don't know. And nobody said a word. Matter of fact, I kept on getting the same old thing. Matter of fact, I even was told that some people in my family even liked me better when I was drinking. Well, why did I get sober? Because the doctor told me to. On my last visit to my family doctor, he hand wrote a note and made me sign it, stating that he washed his hands of me. My physical condition was such that I had to stop drinking or die. Well, I had a long thinking process on the way home, so I figured I'd stop for a couple of drinks to really think it over. And I didn't realize it at the time, but that's part of my insanity. 3 days after that, I admitted myself to Holy Family Hospital and took the cure. And a funny thing happened to me while I was there. The first day out of where they keep you in bed, what is it? Detox. I was invited almost at gunpoint to a meeting of all the other people on the ward whom I didn't want to associate with because I didn't belong there. So I sat in a chair up against the wall like I usually do, and like I still do to this day, which my mother also warned me about, the chair has got 4 legs for a purpose. Well, I always lean back on 2. Well, as I was leaning back, my head struck the wall, and as my head struck the wall, the clock above me fell down right on my head. This is the God's honest truth. And to this day, I know it was HP saying, it's time. I'm not, and I don't want to give, a big drunk-a-log, because everybody's drunk-a-log is the same, basically. We all did the things that we did. We all regret them, but we're not supposed to close the door on them, because we have to remember them so that we can help other alcoholics. Somewhere in one of these mighty books, I think it's somewhere in May in the Daily Reflections book, it says that the greatest gift God has given us is our past, so that we can use it to help other alcoholics. And I firmly believe in that. I try my best to use everything that I can to help another alcoholic, because I remember how it was. And if I can prevent one more minute of suffering in someone else's life, I'm more than willing to do that. And that's what this program is about, is people helping people. That's what these tables are about as far as I'm concerned. I have received so much help by sitting at these tables, by listening, by running off at the mouth with my problems and my daily woe is me's and everything else. And it got to the point where it turned around and it wasn't any more of all the woe is me's, it was gratitude. Where the hell did that come from? As you can probably tell, I have a problem with humility too, so I'm working on it. But gratitude was something that I missed in my entire life. I was so busy running for what was next, planning what was next, and being pissed off about what had happened because it just didn't happen my way, that I just didn't pay any attention to today. Today was, so I got to work my ass off to make today good so that tomorrow will be better. It's never worked that way. But through this program, I've learned to have gratitude. Gratitude for who I am, what I am, and what I can do today. Today is all I've got. That's what they tell me, and I firmly believe it. Sometimes I feel I only have a few minutes because I'm so anxious and caught up and wound up in whatever's going on. And that's when I realize it's time to use the steps. Third step was turn it over. Dear God, please take this feeling away from me. Please help me to calm down so that I can face this situation and be the type of human being you want me to be. Thy will be done. These are the things that I say. I don't know where that comes from because my drill instructor sure didn't teach me that. But these tables did. I use so many of the steps on a daily basis. But the one step that I really do have to remember is that first step. I have to remember that today is all I've got. And the only way I'm going to get today is by not picking up that first drink. And that's the most important thing. As it says in the 24-hour book on January 6th, which we just read 10 days ago. I can even think today. My sobriety is the most important thing in my life. Why? Because without it, I have nothing. I'm back to where I was. And I don't ever want to be there again. It's a place I don't want to go. It may have taken me over 6 years to realize that I did have a problem with the second half of the first step, that my life had become unmanageable. But at least I've realized it. Now, some of us are slower learners than others, and that's okay, as long as I've learned that fact. As long as I can use my past, my experience, my faith, and my hope I've got a problem with that because it's actually my experience, strength and hope, but I like to replace strength with faith because to me strength is faith and faith is strength. So through my experience, my faith, and my hope, I can help other people to realize the same relative happiness that I have today. I spent my drinking life looking for utopia. It's not here. You have to wear a very important piece of jewelry to get that. It's called a toe tag. And I finally realized that. the only way I'm going to get utopia, heaven, is by ending this life and going to the next life. Excuse me, I got to get my glasses because I'm old. I was taught the serenity prayer from the first day, and I couldn't figure that one out either because I was really, really stupid at the time. And then I found out later that there's actually 3 verses to the serenity prayer. It starts off, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. We say that. We say it every day. Sometimes more than once a day. And then it goes on, living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardships as a pathway to peace. Hardships as a pathway to peace. What the hell does that mean? Does that mean that I gotta go through some shit to be happy? Well, sometimes, because that's life. Nobody promised anybody in here a rose garden. And besides, roses have thorns. Taking as he did this sinful world as it is, accepting life on life's terms. Wow, that sucks. Not as I should have it. Not as I should have it. Well, that makes me want to go suck my thumb and sit in a corner. Trusting that he will make all things right. Okay. Now. No? Okay. If I surrender to his will. It's always that if. You know? If I surrender to his will. How about asking for his will? Praying for his will. I have found that works in my life tremendously. Dear God, thy will be done. Besides, that takes the blame off of me. Yes, I am a slow learner. That I may be reasonably happy in this life. Reasonably happy. No utopia, no heaven in this life. No great big gobs that party all the time and, you know, all the booze and blow you want. No, it's not that way. And supremely happy with him forever. Okay. Supremely happy with him forever. That means I got to put that piece of jewelry on before I can get there. So what I get out of this is everything I need to do in my life. The 3 verses to this prayer cover everything. And they make me have but one goal in my life, and that's to die sober. Because this slow learner finally figured out if I die sober, everything between now and that point in time is going to be a whole lot better than it was before when I was drinking or drugging. A whole lot better. And I'm looking forward to that. I can't say enough that I am a grateful, recovering alcoholic. And the simple reason behind that is that I've got this program and I've got all these beautiful people, my brothers and sisters of Alcoholics Anonymous, who I can listen to and today have feelings for. I never had feelings for anybody. No. My favorite saying when I was drinking was, screw them all but 6, and when they're done, screw them too. We don't need them. I don't need anybody. I'm a rock. I'm an island. I'm a volcano. Then I came into the program and learned about making mountains out of molehills. and using the third step. Well, I had to be special about that too. I just didn't make mountains out of molehills. That was too easy, too benign. It was just not good enough. I had to make volcanoes out of molehills because I was special, as a lot of people have heard me say about other people, that they're special. And I always have a tendency of using a few like expletives in there too. So, but I was special, even in the program, as I was growing up in the program and learning about myself and learning about other people. I was special, and I still think I'm special. Why? Because I'm sober. I'm not only sober, but I'm reconnected with my higher power, whom I choose to call God, who I had turned my back on for so many years just because I saw some nasty things in my childhood. What's a little war? How can you tear apart your Lord, your higher power, your God, just because you see your buddies dying next to you and you get wounded and all this shit's going on? And so, but that's what I did. I refused to believe that there was a God, and just like that poem, oh, my brain's working real good. Footsteps. Yeah, there we go. I was carried. I looked down the beach, and I want to say, because I'm special, for 1,000 miles down the beach. And I only saw one set of footprints. Thought it was me. Come to find out it wasn't. My higher power carried me through all those years, carried me through all the good and the bad times. Saved my life. Brought me to this program. For what purpose, I don't know. Don't think I want to know. I pray for God's will every day and the ability to carry it out, and that's all I need. Saved my ass for some purpose. Now, like I said, I used to want to know desperately, what is it? And this booming voice from the sky says, I'm not going to tell you. So I gave up. Why bother? Why try? I'm here because I am. Through the grace of God and the fellowship of this program. I'm sober for the same reasons. I can't think of anything to say, so I'm going to read something. I even made bookmarkers. Did a good job. January 12th in the Daily Reflections says something about acceptance here. When I am having a difficult time accepting people, places, or events, I turn to this passage and it relieves me of many an underlying fear regarding others or situations life presents me. I can't even read either. The thought allows me to be human and not perfect. Why do I always point up? Human and not perfect, and to regain my peace of mind. I had a long, hard time with people laughing at me because I was always running around with a great big red Superman cape and a John Wayne hat. Now picture this. That's got to look stupid. And you know what? It was. It was. Because I had to fix everything. I had to just jump in and do everything for everybody else. Except me. I couldn't fix me. It took coming to this program to realize that all those years I was running away from me because I didn't like me. I've heard a lot of this going around the tables lately. And it seems to be, the people I hear are going like this. And it's the old finger pointing thing. But what it boils down to, as far as I'm concerned, is self-love. The biggest change in my life was when I finally realized that I'm starting to like myself. And it only came 3 or 4 months ago when I was talking to another alcoholic about his problems. Trying to fix his problems and not worrying about mine once again. I gave the analogy that I viewed my life as this great big wall. And because I'm special, it was 1,000 miles this way and 1,000 miles that way. And all that I could see to my right were these holes in the wall from me banging my head against the wall. And what did I have to look forward to on my left? Another 1,000 miles of wall without holes in them. Fresh wall, I can bang my head. Oh boy, oh boy. Well, it took me over 6 years in this program to realize that all I have to do is an about face and walk away from the wall. What a concept. Now I'm talking to another alcoholic about his problems and I'm realizing my own. All I have to do is walk away from the wall. What does that entail? Liking myself. Learning to love myself. I'm a child of God too. All the things that I've done in the past, God's forgiven me. Who am I not to forgive me? Am I that special? Am I better than God? That I should hold this grudge against myself and just beat myself into the ground constantly? No. I don't have to do that anymore. I finally found that out. It took me a while, but like I said, I'm a little slow. Since that point in time, I felt a lot better. Now after that, I kind of went off on another tirade because my wife and I decided to get divorced after 27 years of marriage. And I was so nervous and upset and running around with my head stuck up my butt that my shrink said, why don't you take a little vacation? So I did. I drove back out to Colorado. I was at the end of my rope. I didn't know what to do. And I thought maybe I had enough faith to do what I was told. When you're at the end of your rope, let go. No, I'm afraid. I'm gonna fall. You know, Dante talked about the 7 levels of hell. Well, I figured I'm so special, I'm gonna go in the 8th. I let go. I figured I had enough faith. And I fell straight up into my dreams. A dream that I had had for many, many years. I found a nice parcel of land. I was able to find a nice house to put on this parcel of land. It's just great. It's another miracle. God took these things and put them in front of me and said, okay, this is what you wanted. Now you can have it, but you got to work for it and you have to get it. Okay. Gimme. Well, in a week and a half, I'll be driving this great big yellow truck out to Colorado. And my dreams, one of my dreams, has finally come true. Why? Because I had the faith to let go. I let go and let God, and it worked. Don't know how, don't want to know how. It's that old adage, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Ain't too crazy about looking at any animal's mouth, but I'm not going to ask. It's there, it's done, it's ready. It's another miracle in my life. If I was still drinking and using drugs, it probably would have happened. Or maybe it would have happened. Would I have seen it? Would I have noticed it? No. I don't think so. I'd be too busy worrying about tomorrow or being pissed off about yesterday. That's the difference in my life today that this program has brought to me. By sitting at these tables, by listening, by learning, by talking, by reading, by looking at those words of wisdom, those cliches that I absolutely abhorred when I first came into this program because I was such a rebellious child. I was so special. But by listening and learning, by coming back, by doing what I'm supposed to do, which I really didn't like, but I didn't like the alternative. And someone said, keep it simple. Well, I can do that. That worked. And it's been working. It's been working in my life every day. I'm very, very grateful for it. Now, some days are better than others. Oh, look, here's a little marker that says, past. Lighting the dark past. Cling to the thought that in God's hands, the dark past is the greatest possession you have, the key to life and happiness for others. With it, you can avert death and misery for them. That's called helping other people. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 124. No longer is my past an autobiography. It's a reference book to be taken down, opened and shared. Today, as I report for duty, the most wonderful pictures come through. For through this day, be dark as some days must be, the stars will shine even brighter later. My witness that they do shine will be called for in the very near future. All my past will this day be a part of me, because it is the key, not the lock. I don't know what else to say about that. I think it sums it up pretty good. It's the key, not the lock. I always looked at my past and I just wanted to get rid of it. And that's why I slithered into the bottle every day. That's why I stuck needles in my arm and took pills. Because I didn't like me. And I wanted to get away from me. From my past, from all the thoughts. Growing up a nice little Roman Catholic Irish South Side little boy, being a fine altar boy, you know, that fine stuff. And then going halfway across the planet just to kill little yellow people wasn't fun. I hated myself so much for that I was literally trying to destroy myself with drugs and alcohol. Today I'm glad I didn't. Because I fell up into my dreams by letting go. I think I'm going to cry. Vigilance. Still pointing up. We have seen the truth demonstrated again and again. Once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. Commencing to drink after a period of sobriety, we are in short times as bad as ever. We are planning to stop drinking. There must be no reservation of any kind, nor any lurking notion that someday we will be immune to alcohol. Immune to alcohol. Yeah, right. And I can breathe underwater, too. Watch. Today I am an alcoholic. Tomorrow will be no different. My alcoholism lives within me now and forever. I must never forget what I am. Alcohol will surely kill me if I fail to recognize and acknowledge my disease on a daily basis. What does that say? Alcohol will surely kill me. Yes, this disease does kill. It's not a social disease. This disease will kill you. You get drunk, and that telephone pole jumps out in front of you. I'm sorry, bud. It's over. Your liver turns to stone. Your pancreas shrivels up. Your brain gets surrounded by salt water. Salt water. You're dead. That's it. This disease will kill you. It's no joke. It's not just something that you stop doing because you think you drink too much. I know I came into this program because my doctor said I was going to die if I didn't stop drinking. And like I said, what did I do? I stopped at the bar to think about it on the way home. That's how this disease gets to you. Cunning, baffling, powerful, and patient. I look at this disease as a serpent coiled at my foot, ready to strike me at any time. That's how much I am afraid of this disease. And because I'm so special, it's not just a rattlesnake. No, it's a king cobra or something huge, with fangs 6 inches long, because I'm special. So my snake's got to be big. I am not playing a game in which a loss is a temporary setback. I am dealing with my disease, for which there is no cure. Only daily acceptance and vigilance. What does that mean? Well, to me, it means that I have to go to meetings. That I have to remember to read my big book. I have to remember to call my sponsor. I have to remember to do all the simple little things that when we sit down and talk about them all in a row, it sounds like, oh my God, how could I ever do all these things? But when you just implement them one at a time into your life, I have found, yeah, I can do that. And if I can do it, chances are most of us can. At least from what I've seen over the years. Now I won't get into the St. Francis prayer. Not too sure about, I hope there isn't anybody here called Francis. Is chance or change? God is no stranger to anonymity and often appears in human affairs in the guises of luck, chance, or coincidence. Or as I used to say, coinkydink. If anonymity somewhat fortuitously became the spiritual basis for all our traditions, perhaps God was acting anonymously on our behalf. God act anonymously? I call that a miracle. Or something happens when you're not quite sure how it happened, where it happened, why it happened. Did God do that? Is that a God thing? I don't know. So maybe God does act anonymously on our behalf, in our behalf. And last but not least, from one of my favorite books, Serenity. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 106. As I continued to go to meetings and work the steps, something began to happen to me. I felt confused because I wasn't sure what it was I was feeling. And then I realized I was exercising serenity. It was a good feeling, but where had it come from? Then I realized it had come as a result of these steps. The program may not always be easy to practice, But I had to acknowledge that my serenity had come to me after working the steps. As I work the steps in everything I do, practicing these principles in all my affairs, now I find that I am awake to God, to others, and to myself. The spiritual awakening I have enjoyed as the result of working the steps is the awareness that I am no longer alone. Look around you, brothers and sisters. You're not alone. Look at all the drunks. Shit! When I was drinking, I could be all by my lonesome at a Bears-Packer game. Nobody else was there but me. A, because I didn't want anyone else there, because I was so special that the game should be held just for my benefit. B, I was probably already half in the bag and couldn't see anybody else around me anyway. And C, who cares? But I'm not alone anymore. I have people I can call, people I can trust, people that I love, people who love me, people that I can do things for, people that will do things for me. People! Not just my dog wagging his tail and slobbering on my shoes. I got one good fan over here. Thank you, darling. I have people in my life today. Something that I never had before. I spent years in my drinking years and my drugging years thinking my wife was my only best friend because she took care of me. She protected me. She was my best friend. Surprise! Not no more. All good things must come to an end. She tells me I've changed. She's the one that wanted me to stop drinking. Yes, I've changed. I've become the person that I never was before. I'm self-sufficient. I can stand on my own 2 feet. I can pay my own bills. Matter of fact, I even get a kick out of paying bills today. Why? Because I can. There were many times I couldn't. My dog still likes me. My kids are kind of so-so. My wife don't like me anymore. I've changed. Thank God I've changed. I'm sober. I feel I'm becoming the person that my higher power wanted me to be. I brought all these books up here, but I'm not going to take up that much time. This is one of my favorite poems. It's called The Divine Moment. And I lost my bookmarker. Sorry. This moment, this is the part of the poem that is labeled This Moment, in the Divine Moment. It's special. Look around. Ordinary? Yes, this is right now. The exclusive message of the cosmos to you. This is totally and absolutely it. Look again slowly, carefully. Don't bother with symbolisms. Absorb the tone, texture, and smell of right now. Remove it all from the story-like description in your mind. Just look. Just feel. Hear the patterns of sound. Slow down the tempo of your apprehension. Bring it to a still and endless moment. This will do, will it not, for eternity? Had you something else in mind? Something a bit more grand? But this is where you are, right here. The distance to heaven is a blink of an eye. And what of this moment? Does it carry meaning? All the meaning you care to invest. That's your act, to give meaning. Try not to suffer a failure of imagination. Do your very best. The universe awaits your unique contribution. Plant a new seed in the matrix of life. We create about us in space and time the profusion of flowers. If you are indoors, perhaps a few golden flickers in the air would help. Perhaps the walls a little more rich and textured. A kind of energy in the future there might, in the future, question mark, dummy. There might even be a certain stillness in the center of the room that could radiate out and spread throughout the area. If you are outdoors, perhaps the plants can offer a vibratory aura of individuals. Maybe the earth sounds a deep note that resonates in the bones, or a sort of golden rain of life in the flooded air of sunshine. Well, whatever. Make yourself comfortable. You're here forever. If that frightens you, consider you've always been here. I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Besides, I need a cigarette.
I'll catch my coat later. We'll sell his coat if he doesn't come back for it. So. Can we open our floor up for some comments real quickly? Yeah.
I'm an alcoholic. Thank you for this morning's practice.